Very good morning. Welcome back to first year physics. In the first year physics, in the previously we started a gravitation chapter. In that gravitation chapter, about a Kepler's laws. Actually, we are discussing in that Kepler's law. One law is over. That is a law of orbit is finished. Now let us will move to the next law. That is Kepler's second law, or we can say law of areas. Sir, what is mean by areas, or we can also call like a law of area or second law. In general, again saying, all planets which are revolving around the sun in a elliptical path. Once again you draw that diagram which is in the oval shape like this. Clear? See, you take a two axis, one is a major, one more is a minor axis. See, your thing is, if the planets are revolving, see, sun is at a one point, one focus point you take F is the sun place. Of course, here we can also take another point also, but you take a one point, either this point or this point. See, when it is sun is at this point, now planets are revolving. When it is a planet is at a distance like this. So the planet which is moving from A to B, so which covers a area, right? It is area swept by the planet. When it is a fourth point, when it is a long distance, and when reaches to the close point, so the areas are equal. See this, you say C to D. This area covered by the planets are equal. The area swept by the planet, when it is a long distance and when it is a closest distance, these areas are equal. The area swept by the planets are equal. That is, we can say line joining the planet to the sun sweeps out equal areas in equal interval of a time. Equal areas in equal interval of a time. This area and this area. That mean here, this at this point, it is actually moves very slow. It is moves very slow. But when come to the point is, here it is moves from this point to C to D, it takes a, I mean to say it moves a speed. See, then this speed. From here it is actually moves very slow. From here it is what happens, C to D, it is moves very fast. That's what we can call it is a law of area. And here, areal velocity of a radius vector. See, areal velocity of a radius vector which is equal to constant, dA by dt is nothing but a is constant. This we can call areal velocity. Areal velocity, that is, it is the area is changes with respect to time, which we can call areal velocity of a radius vector is constant is nothing but a, we can call as the law of area. Law of area here. Here you remember one thing, time taken. See, that's what here A to B, it takes a long time, and when C to D it takes a less time. But the area swept by the planets, it is equal. This area and this areas are equal. So which we can call as the areal velocity vector. Okay, here it is moves a fast. We can say fast it is. It moves a slow. So there is a, but areas are equal. Area covered by the planet when it is a fourth point, and when it is a near, very close also areas are equal. That's what. Area swept by the planet which are equal when it is a fourth point as well as the closest point, which we can call as the areal velocity vector or areal velocity vector. Areal velocity vector, that is area swept by the vector or areal velocity which is always constant. It's nothing but we can call as the, we can call as what? It is about a law of area. In this law of area we have other also. We have to find a one relation by using a triangle. See, this is a radius vector you take, and there may be an angle d theta. So by using this, let us write a first one. dA is equal to area of this half into base into height. But because it is a triangle, no, area is nothing but a small area dA. So base is nothing but you say base, and it is height. Height is nothing but that is height we can take. So that height is nothing but AB, and here dA is equal to 1 by 2. Base is nothing but a radius, height is nothing but a AB. But we don't know AB, no? So that you get by using this angle d theta, that is arc length, we can take like this, arc length by radius. So d theta is equal to AB by R. So AB is equal to R into d theta. Suppose you take as equation 1, this is equation 2. So that here from this what happens, you take a AB, you substitute here. Therefore dA is equal to 1 by 2 R into d theta. Therefore dA is equal to 1 by 2 R square into d theta. It is the area. It is the area. Now we have to make a relation. So you do one thing, in both sides you divide with a dt. So dA by dt is nothing but aerial velocity 1 by 2 r square into d theta by dt. So this is aerial velocity. D theta by dt is nothing but we can say omega, angular velocity. So dA by dt is equal to 1 by 2 r square into omega. This is the relation. This is what? It is a one relation related to what it is? We can say aerial velocity vector. See, actually we are finding aerial velocity. That is the aerial velocity is nothing but area changes with respect to time, or aerial velocity vector, which is aerial velocity vector is equal to constant. So that dA by dt is equal to, by using this triangle, is it one triangle? No, you say yes, AB is a triangle. From this triangle, area of the triangle will be half into base into height. Base will be r here, height will be AB you take. But here we should get an angle theta, because it is suspended an angle theta. No, theta is equal to, or d theta is equal to arc length by radius. What is an arc length? AB is the arc length. What is the radius? You take a r. So from here AB is equal to r into d theta. So from this 2, here you write here 1 and 2. From 1 and 2, dA is equal to 1 by 2 r into r d theta. R into r square d theta. So dividing with time both sides, dA by dt 1 by r square d theta by dt. D theta by dt is equal to omega. So this is the relation for aerial velocity vector. Of course we have continuation relation also. I will tell you that. We know that V is equal to r omega r. You remember this? From this, omega is equal to Vr. You write here dA by dt is equal to, it is 1 by 2 r square into V by r you take. So 1 r cancel, dA by dt is equal to, we can say it is Vr by 2. Vr by 2 you take. Now according to the law of conservation of angular momentum, you take as law of conservation of angular momentum, that is L is equal to mvr. From here actually Vr is there, no? So L by m is equal to, you take Vr. This here you substitute. Therefore dA by dt is equal to, it is L by 2m. dA by dt is equal to L by 2m. dA by dt is equal to L by 2m. L is nothing but angular momentum. This is the one relation. Of course it is not required for you, but we should remember, because it is related to the law of area. No? For law of area, that is, we can say the line joining the planets, it is area swept by the planet which are equal when it is a long distance as well as when it is a closest approach. The area swept by the planets are equal. That is an equal interval of a time. When long distance, it is actually moves slow. When it is a closest distance, it is moves fast. But the time taken are same, as well as area also same. That's what aerial velocity vector it is. Clear? So this is the information related to the second law of Kepler's. And we'll move to the third law. Sir, what is the third law? Very simple. The time period, square of the time period. Square of the time period is directly proportional to cube of the semi-major axis. So there will be a semi-major axis. We can take it, this is the semi-major axis. Of course, it is a A. So the third law will be what? Very simple, third law. You take a third law, that is about a square of the time period is directly proportional to cube of the semi-major axis. Cube of the semi-major axis. Square of the time period is directly proportional to cube of the semi-major axis. So that here it is t directly proportional to a power 3 by 2. We can also take like this. Squaring on both sides. If I take like this, t1 by t2 whole square is equal to a1 by a2 whole cube. So t1 by t2 is equal to a1 by a2 whole power 3 by 2. This is about a third law. So there are three laws. One we can say law of orbit, and second one we can say law of area, third one we can say law of period. So these are the three laws. It is related to the 4 marks question, and you finish it as early as possible. This law, three laws, just you need to write only 3 laws. just statements, not required this all derivations. Just you need to write a statements. Law of first one, law of orbit, second law of area, third law of period. So for law of first one is nothing but a law of orbit. No, all planets are revolving around the sun in elliptical orbit. It's nothing but a law of orbit. Enough. This is the statement, and you need to draw a diagram. Second, law of area, that is the line joining all the planets to the sun. Line joining all the planet to the sun sweeps out equal areas in equal interval of a time. That's it. This is the second statement. And you want to write other statement. The aerial velocity vector is constant. The aerial velocity vector is constant. This is the second statement. You need to write the statements. That's all. Not required this all derivations. Third law, that is directly it is time period. Square of the time period is directly proportional to cube of the semi-major axis. Cube of the semi-major axis. This is you need to write. That's all. Not required to more than this. Is there any doubt? So if doubt, then you refer in your materials and you see these videos, right? Now coming to the next one. So this is about a Kepler's laws. Now we'll move to the next one. Yeah, and one more point I would like to tell you. This gravitation again this will come in the second year. Same topics are there in the second year also. What are the similar topics? See, that is about electric fields, electric force, magnetic fields. Same, whatever year is there, again we'll get in the second year also same similar statements. Just there we need to change some names. That's it. Everything is same. That's what oscillations also is there in the second year. That is the waves. I told you that also. And now also gravitation also is there in the second year. Same topics. Similar topics are there. Not gravitation, but it is a similar are there. Electric fields, magnetic fields are there. Like here also we have gravitational fields. So that it is all are what? It is a similar to this chapter only, right? Okay. Now coming to the next one. That is about we can say related to yes, coming to the next one, here it is universal law of gravitation. Side heading, again it is also very important for 2 marks. A statement is required. Universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation, or we can also call it is a gravitational force of attraction. Universal gravitational force of attraction. Universal gravitational force of attraction. So that's what it is. We can call force of attraction only. You remember, it is very simple. We can define like this. So this force of attraction between the 2 masses. Let you take 2 masses. One we can say Earth. One more we can say moon. Yes, of course. There will be a mass. Earth mass is capital M, you say. Another one we can say moon mass, small m. There will be a force of attraction. So Earth is attracting the moon, as well as moon also attracting the Earth. That's what we can call it is a attractive force. Gravitational force of attraction. And it is an action-reaction pair, and which act a long range. And it is the weakest force in the universe. This is related to the gravitational force of attraction. So it is acting between the 2 bodies which are capital M and small m, or you want to say m1, m2 also, no problem, and which are separated by distances small r. There may be a force of attraction between the 2 bodies. See, according to the inverse square law, this is we can also call inverse square law. So there is a force of attraction is directly proportional to the product of 2 masses, of course, and there may be a force of attraction is inversely proportional to square of the distance between the 2 particles. See, remember the statement for the law of gravitation, or we can say universal law of gravitation. There is a force of attraction between the 2 bodies. It is the product of 2 masses. Force is directly proportional to product of two masses, and force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between the two masses. Square of the distance between the two masses. And this force is act along the line joining the two particles. It's nothing but we can call law of gravitation. Law of gravitation. And you remember, this law of gravitation is the conservative. That's what we can say, work done by the force is 0. And it is the independent on path followed. And it is action and reaction pair. Already I told you in the previous class. And one more, it is a central force. Sir, what is mean by central force? See, central force in the sense is which act along the line joining towards each other or away from, which act along the line. The force which act along the line in the sense is we can call central force. Remember this statement. Central force is nothing but it may be act along the line, either maybe towards each other or away from each other. That's what we can call central force. So gravitational force is a central force. Now let us will see, coming to the continuation. So that there is a force is directly proportional to product of two masses. Force is inversely proportional to square of the distance. So that by using this, F directly proportional to capital M small m by r square. There is some constant is introduced that we can say capital G. Sir, what is capital G? Capital G is nothing but a universal gravitational constant. We say universal gravitational constant. Constant. And here it is a constant, no? So constant, there is a value for universal gravitational constant. A value is there. That value I will tell you. Before that, you write from here. G is equal to cross multiply Fr square by capital M into small m. This is the capital G. Capital F is nothing but a gravitational force. Here the capital G is nothing but a universal gravitational constant. And here you should write a dimensional formula as well as units also. So that you write first units. In CGS system, for a gravitational constant, universal gravitational constant, dyne centimeter square by kg square, because masses are gram square, because it is measured in gram, no, in CGS you say gram square. In case of MKS or SI system, see, we can say Newton meter square per kg square. It is the for universal gravitational constant. What about dimensional formula? Of course, it is a very, very important dimensional formula for 2 marks. So that here force we know ml t power minus 2 into L square by m square, because mass is m square, r is the distance, so that we can say L square. So you cancel 1m, then 1m is left over, no, you take to numerator, it is becomes minus 1, and here LL is there, no, L cube t power minus 2. So which is very, very important, the dimensional formula, and everyone remember. Sir, what is the universal gravitational constant value? That is 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. This is the capital G, and everyone remember this. No doubt it is. Everyone. So this information is very, very important. Units, dimensional formula, and the value of capital G. And here it is a scalar. So this is related to what? Universal gravitational constant, and as well as the universal gravitational force of attraction. It is always attractive. In this there is no doubt. It is always attractive. And there is a forces between the two masses, huge masses, or you say two masses of particles, that is capital M and small m, which are separated by small distance d. There is a force between the two particles F. That the force of attraction, you say attraction is directly proportional to the product of two masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between the two particles. Therefore, F directly proportional to the product of this and inversely proportional to this. So when we are removing this proportionality, therefore introduces some constant is capital G. That capital G is nothing but a universal gravitational constant. From there, capital G we can write like this: if you cross multiply Fr square by capital M into small m, and then after use this and get a units and dimension formula which are to be like this. Clear? So this is information related to the universal gravitational force, as well as we can say universal gravitational constant. So it is for what? It is for 4 marks, right? And coming to the point, so I would like to tell you the vector form. See, vector form, side heading as you take as the vector form. Here, vector form. Of course, we know. Sir, now we should write it in vector form. Sir, what is vector form? Of course, I'll tell you. There is a condition if there is a two particles which are located m1 and m2. Distance is like there may be a force of attraction. See, which are located distance between the two particles is, you say there is a force between m1 and m2. You say F12. This may be attracting F21. So, which are located from the origin like this, which is at a distance is, you say F12, we can say like this, F12. What is mean by F12? F12 in the sense is, that is, we can say A to B, there is a to B. So, that A to B is nothing but a gravitational force act on a body, act on A by B, that is gravitational force is act on A by B. This is the information. See, A to B, F12 is simple, it's nothing but a what? Gravitational force act on A by B. What about 2, 1? Yes, of course. That we can say B like this, right? B to A. Gravitational force act on B by A. This is the what we can say like this. And here there is a R12. What is R12? That is distance between A and B. R21, yes, we can say B to A. See, these two particles which are to be located like this, in general, we can say like this. See, this is one distance and it is another distance, R1 and R2. There is a particle M1 and there is a particle M2. There is a distance between these two is R12 or R21, you can take like this. This is the from origin we can say. See, in a form vector we are saying no, therefore we can say like this, right? And coming to the point is, there may be a force F is equal to G m1 m2 by r12 square, we can take. Okay, it is a form we have to say in a vector, no? So you say 1 2, no? Therefore you say 1 2 unit vector. Of course, we know 1 2 unit vector is nothing but a r12 vector by r12 unit vector. So suppose you replace here, therefore there will be a form, we can say G m1 m2 by r12 whole square into r12 vector by r12 like this. So this is the form which we can call as a vector form. So here we can also say if r12 is there, no, then 1 2 we can write. We can also take a minus. What is minus indicates? It is always attractive. If you write or not, then it is to be understood. Minus also we can mention. Of course, you no need to write. If you want to write also, nothing will happen. See, cube because square, no, r12 is the vector. It is 1 2, no. Suppose I want to say 2 1. So you write here G m1 m2 by, that is r21 whole square into, we can say it is r21 unit vector. So if I want to like that, so G m1 m2 by, we say r21 whole cube into r21 is the vector. This is in the form of a vector it is. It is in the form of a vector. It is, we can say, gravitational law of universal gravitational force of attraction. Law of gravitational force of attraction. Right? So here we can also say like this, R12 is nothing but it is, we can say R2 minus R1. Suppose you want to write here R21, then you say R1 minus R2. Yes. We can also take like this. You want to replace here? Yes, we can replace with these expressions also. Because we are saying in terms of vector, no? Yes, of course, we can also take like this. So this is what it is related to what? Due to the gravitational force of attraction between the huge masses or between the two particles. And here this gravitational force of attraction is independent on other mediums, other particles present at that place. Right? It is also very, very important. This is the about a universal law of gravitational force of attraction. On Newton's law of gravitational force of attraction also we can. Newton's law of gravitation. So this is the today's class, and we'll see you in the next class. Thank you very much.